We got a comment the other day about how our rig is organized. And I thought that was an interesting question because we aren't like masters of organization by any means. It's sort of one of those things that like everything we do, we sort of just wing it. We make it happen and we make it work for us. So in the interest of oversharing, I'm gonna show you our organization. And we've had our rig for 3.5 months now. So things aren't like perfectly organized. Things are not optimal by any means. And we've been working on so many projects and we've been in an RV park that like things kind of just sort of exploded and we now have them put away, but we're not at the point of optimization. We're here at the Tulalip Casino RV area. It's kind of a nice little spot. It's dry camping, as they say. We've got a few neighbors. Folks came in and left last night. Kind of loud, honestly. We've got our truck canopy, and underneath that is technically not, it's not gonna be dry, safe storage, but not something that we're really worried about. We never have. We've never actually had a canopy or anything like that. So we've got an exploded box here. Ignore that, that is a future project, hint. We've got our bike, and we actually picked up a few extra because apparently this brand or this formula of food, dog food, is going out. So we got these for 35 bucks. Normally they're like 89 for the pup. So we picked up 2 extra bags, which is cool. We would like to get more, but these chairs right here fit into our front storage deal. And this thing's massive. So we've got our collapsible ladder. We've got some extra, honestly, we need to put some of that on the front end. I'm not finding that we need it yet. We got some cleaning supplies. It looks like chaos because it's kind of chaotic. Our purple power, that stuff, I actually really like that stuff. We've got our fuel filters in there. Yeah, gloves there. Let's see. Actually, we probably could. There's a couple of these bags of things, miscellaneous parts. And then we have 3 hoses, a 10-foot, 25, and a 50-foot hose. And then we have a hammock over here and that bug spray? Yeah, bug spray. So, yes. So this extension cable has seen better days, but it's still working. There's no nicks or anything like that. And then we lay, believe it or not, those chairs fold in, lay right on top of there. It does say the maximum capacity is 100 pounds. I think we're kind of at the limit, frankly. We don't have outside storage on our Escape 23, and believe it or not, that's okay. There is one model though that gives you outside access to inside storage. That's the King Betta model. Along with all of that, we have portioned 1/3. We're not gonna go into this. We portioned 1/3 of this back seat area. These are all active use, like we're still working on things, you know, as we can. We're not gonna do cutting and drilling and such here in this parking lot, but because we're gonna use those in the next couple days, it's all put out. But all of this will fit into this this tote, and those totes, the Tough Tote HDX, whatever you wanna call them. It's funny because everybody has them now. It's like I think we've seen them at Walmart, Home Depot, and Lowe's. But everybody seems to love those, and we are no exception. So we got the awning out, and I gotta say, I'm disappointed in the crud. Yeah, you can actually see some of the crap that was from the trees. Apparently we didn't clean it off well enough, and so it like dried on there. And I will say, we don't have it yet, but we need to get a new bike rack that's not all beat to crap. And we'll get a bike rack on the back of here, and that'll work out well. So we'll start here in the rear of the trailer. And again, nothing is really organized, so don't judge. It's all a work in progress. Under these two, so this is water systems and this is electrical management systems. All that works where it seems sketchy, but just keep an eye on it, you'll be all right. Just lift the cushions up and off we go. And I will say it makes it a lot easier to access things when this table, you know, swivels out as quickly as it does. This out of the way, we can access this storage here. The loom will not be there forever. We've got some of that. We have our Cricut stuff in there, and then the Cricut itself, I believe, is in there as well. That's all that's basically in there. It's just project stuff that, you know, we're obviously not accessing every single day. And this is what I mean, where we kind of just make it work. So again, we're going to be going on a long trip soon, so everything's sort of just shoved in here. So these are gifts for family, and we've got some camera gear, mostly like action camera accessories in there. We've got tapes in here, like VHB, duct tape, etc. These are, you know, randomly. This is roof sealant tape. I actually wouldn't recommend this stuff. You know, it is what it is. We've got a speaker, a backup hard drive, There is some tech stuff in here. A little setup where, you know, a little one of these. Invaluable as a technician, but every tiny little bit that you need to work on a Mac or a phone or, you know, what have you. And back here we have some puzzles, our Wisecam V3s, you know, these are actually some spare parts and paperwork that came with the rig. And then this guy. So this router needs to be mounted more stable at some point, but believe it or not, even with the cupboard closed and the way it is awesome. And I know some folks might have a question of like, okay, if reception is not an issue in there, what if you want to add an extra antenna? Do you feel like you need to? The answer is no. We have not found an antenna that would be worth having for this. This is actually pretty dang good. Our fridge and freezer. So we have the two-way, right? 120 or propane. Got our meats and such. And we actually splurged a little bit. So Emma's trying to get off of coffee, so she got these like, 10 calorie little energy, you know, whatever. We have fallen off the carnivore bandwagon, but we're still actually doing, believe it or not, doing pretty well still. And we have some extra drink, but there's not a lot of organization. There are channels that were dedicated to organization. That is not our channel, but this is kind of how this looks. So the majority of our food, other than like eggs, you know, is going to be right up here, and then you thaw whatever you need. You know, when it comes to chicken, you thaw that out. We've been doing really well at not eating out because of what we have. I've been pretty proud of us as folks that really like to eat out. Clothes, just hanging clothes. We don't access these all too often, but they're hanging close. And I can't even remember what we have in some of these. We have so much storage. Yep, laundry stuff, TP, dog treats. And this is access. We're actually probably going to need this access soon. This is access to underneath for all the plumbing and all that good stuff. And then in here, in the rest of this kitchen area, I guess top to bottom, right? We have a lot of oats and stuff. I don't know why we have so many, but we don't really actually use them. But we've got these square containers, which are kind of cool. Emma likes to play around with some organization every now and then. We have a ridiculous amount of mac and cheese because we are helping my mom move, and that's just something they're like, yeah, we don't eat this. And we're like, yeah, well, you know, we might be able to use it over time. It's more that it's like there if we ever need it, but we rarely, you know. And then we also have, this is a terrible organization, but cups, bowls, plates somewhere in there. Like this is an example of what not to do. Also, if you're wondering where our trash goes, it's always a bag, and usually it sits up here, or when we're driving, it sits in the sink along with our soap dispenser. So we do have this little round deal. We got this as a gift, actually. It's most useful though for the cup in the middle that holds all of our utensils. Believe it or not, this is freaking awesome. And then we have it Velcroed down to the counter. It does not go anywhere. So Velcro is the number one thing that we have found works. Let's see. More bags. It's a box of bags and some Clorox, and then our shoes, or Crocs, I should say. More Croc storage, and yeah, actual shoe storage. Let's see. In here, yep. So we've got our air fryer back there. That thing is freaking awesome. We've got one pot, one pan, and yeah, if we ever do smoothies, we've got that, which is freaking awesome. Here, we got spices. So we use these spices. I wish we used those spices more, but for some reason, you know, if you buy a big thing of Montreal, it just makes sense to, you know, come right here. It's just a little more convenient. All of our silverware here and our little cheese slicer. I use that a lot and I love it. This little thing that we have, we never use this. It's like one of those little frother things. We never use the dang thing, but you know, feel less like a minimalist as I'm going through all of our crap. Let's see. So dog stuff. We've got some matches if we ever need those. Dog hairbrush, fur brush, and if you look, we actually just gave them a bath yesterday, right, buddy? And they get really sheddy after that. So, yep, we have these. I actually need to order a new connection set because we're out of anything I've ever found useful, really. But there we go. And then random. This is the junk drawer, really. This is, you know. It might sound ridiculous, like, but really this is where the junk is. This and kind of up there. That is like if we're going to use it someday, it goes up there. If it's like miscellaneous small stuff or things that we need to do, these are kind of cool. These are little American flag caps for the tires. Kind of a cool thing. So that all goes in there. Yes, that is this array here. And Emma could probably better explain down here, but this is where all of our, I'd say beauty products, our mouthwash, all that good stuff, that's where all this goes. So it's right in here. So if we're accessing it every day, like a hair straightener, right? You know, I like to make sure I look good. Shaver and tweezers and all that. That's what goes in here. So this is frequent access. And funny, I forget that we even have this outlet here, but we do. And then down here is if, for example, like acetone and let me think, a steamer and some extra headbands or whatever. If we aren't accessing it often, it goes in there. My back starts to hurt when I bend over. So everything for me, if I'm using it often, it just needs to be within reach. Otherwise, like I'm not gonna access down there. I just get frustrated, right? So there's not a lot to say about the bathroom, right? So I do like that we have a covered toilet paper deal. We always keep a little hand soap in there. And then actually we drilled some holes in the bottom, but a little bit of like body soap. And then we used VHB or no, alien tape. Alien tape on this guy and drilled a couple holes in the bottom so it can drain. It kind of looks scudsy now, you know, toothpaste, whatever. I mean, this is our home, so you know, it's small space. You got to do what you got to do. It would be cool to have something a little bit bigger, but you also have to realize we only have so much space, right? So like if I were to put something over here, I don't want to accidentally, you know, I want to be able to move around. This keeps it, so generally speaking, we can still do that. And you know, it's weird. I feel like we have more than this typically, but shampoo, conditioner, body wash, which really when you have the soap, and you know, it's the same thing, beard wash, and then, you know, if you need to do something with saline up there, and then there's a magnetic, you know, but really that one kind of sucks compared to the Gillettes. That may all be TMI for this video, but yeah, there's that. Now I will say, so we use our rig, we use the black tank, the gray tank. We're not holding back, this is our home. But one cool thing, even if you don't have, like you don't have a composting toilet, you don't want to mess with all that, you want to use your toilet, but you don't want to deal with the black water and all that. A lot of people will, they'll use like a jar or a, you know, some sort of container for liquids, and then they'll use bags for solids. You can use that right in your, you know, in your toilet. So that's an option, not one that we've gone with, but it is an option, especially if you're trying to boondock, but not spending a lot more money on crappy, basically a fancy bucket, right? Watch out, buddy. Move. Watch out. So this is where the dogs sleep. Actually, believe it or not, they've got room. They like it. They seem to, and they're free to go out here, right? Especially at night. They just simply choose not to. So now throughout all of the overheads, you've probably seen that we use little like bins and containers. They don't all match. Most of them are like clear. We've got seen Target, Walmart, or IKEA, but like you can see here, socks and unmentionables, right? And this, you know, we've got t-shirts and then my Aloha shirts in here. And so containers are kind of nice for that. And then swimming trunks and pants down here. And then in here, of course, we keep flashlights and other things that are more sensitive. If it needs to be grabbed quickly, it's very easy to grab, right? The one thing actually I'll mention about this is some plastic liner that Emma spent a long time putting in everything. You know, we thought this would be great. The edges all peel up on this. It kind of sucks. So, womp womp. That is the extent of my clothes here. And then I have like my winter coat. Oh, so nice. I love that thing. That goes underneath. All the rest of this is Emma's clothes, and I have no idea what kind of organization. She folds it, she puts it up there. So that's all of that, and then one of the buckets underneath, and then most of that, honestly. So I don't know how her organization is. In her drawer, she has, you know, a similar setup for her flashlight or quick access items, let's say, emergency tools. And then let's try to get in here. Let's see if we can. Oh yeah. So we added that topper and it really the struts are just fine, but it's kind of tough to get in here. So because we can access everything from the front right here, we just throw our dirty clothes in here, and then we can literally lift that up, scoop whatever we need to in there, socks and whatever that fell out, and off we go. That goes right to the laundromat. You can see the totes. We love those things. And actually you can tell which one. I think that one's like Home Depot, and then these would be from either Walmart or Lowe's. They're all a little bit different. It doesn't matter. Yeah, bags, seasonal clothes, especially our nice coats. You can see it's kind of puffed up in there. And then, oh gosh, I don't even know what that is back there. And then we also put our little vacuum in here, our broom, and then extra camera gear. So like our Sony goes under there. We're not using it for a while. It's generally gonna go on there. Yeah, like the Sony is like it's a really nice video camera, but the DJI is just a lot easier to use. So this is kind of the everyday camera sort of thing. But yes, all of that, it's kind of how that looks. And, you know, again, all of this is subject to change. Our organization we'll just overhaul everything. So especially with the truck, I don't like things to be messy. I want it to be, the most used tools, of course, are on top. Like if I need to get to a socket set and we're on the middle, if I'm frustrated, I don't want to dig through anything, right? So we make sure that we optimize as we go. Things like these, we generally we're not up here. One rule though, that we have a sort of mental tally. If we're not accessing things often, we kind of remember that. And we recall the last time we've used something. If we're not using it, we're going to get rid of it. We're going to donate it. We're going to give it to somebody, you know, whatever it is. But that's all of our storage. That's kind of how we move everything. I don't like a lot of clutter. I really don't. And so also the less clutter you have, the easier it is to keep things clean. And I feel like, especially with this, I know this small thing, but like this table makes it so much easier to get into these storage things, right? To access these things, or to do the maintenance that we need to do, and the projects that we have coming up. So, you know, these little tiny improvements, something as small as that, which is very big, it makes it easier just to navigate and get around and get rid of the clutter, which is just, it might seem so small, but it makes such a big impact when it's every single day. So. There is a very interesting ring that I think we'll pick up on the camera, kind of like a rainbow, a kind of atmospheric deal there. Very interesting to see that out here. But anywho, the weather has really changed for the better lately. We have just been spoiled. There's a little bit of wind, but nothing crazy. So anyways, we've got lots and lots of changes coming up. I'm very, very excited. I didn't mention this, but the aux blocks, so we don't have the jacks down, but we've got this guy down, the front jack. Yeah, big difference with that, I will say. Actually, and you never hear the front jack anymore, like skidding or anything like that. Sometimes you still hear the, you know, the steps doing their thing, but what a nice thing. And those we have kept just, you know, back here and in that back deal. So we have some really fun trips coming up. I really hope to do, I mean, it's just gonna be, the more I can do in a beautiful place, like the more videos I can make, the happier I am. So we're gonna be cranking out video after video in these beautiful places. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, we've got summer vacation coming up very, very soon. That's gonna be a wonderful thing. Lots of big changes. A big road trip coming up as well. Yeah, I'm excited to share it all with you guys. And so, yeah, thank you guys for coming along and for following, subscribing, liking the videos. I really appreciate it. And if you don't mind, when you're going to make an Amazon purchase, if you click the link below for our Amazon page, that helps the channel out a lot. So if you're so inclined, that's awesome. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you got something out of it. Or if nothing else, it's what not to do, right? But no, this organization, these little buckets, the ergonomics, they're pretty much in the right place. See you next video, guys. Bye.